All right, let's do it.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Namaste, friends. What's poppin'? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. Hope you're doing well. Really do hope that. Sorry, it's been a later upload. I'm sick, guys. I'm poorly. I haven't been ill for ages. I used to get ill all the time. Had a good run. I even thought about the classic, sod's law. I was thinking, I haven't been ill for ages. Cursed myself. Anyway, I'm feeling well enough to do a video, and there's some stuff I want to talk about. Liam Toomey's done a piece on Enzo Fernandez on The Athletic, which of course is a huge talking point. Currently wearing the captain's armband at Chelsea. Is he the guy? We're going to be reflecting on some of his article there. Also, the Metro citing the Italian publication Corriere, let's go French, dello Sport. The Italian paper about Victor Osimhen to Chelsea in January. And there's a reason for that. A little bit of Cole Palmer loving too. So it's going to be a good vid, guys. Strap yourselves in. As always, thank you for joining me. We are on the road to 200,000 subscribers. So if you dig the content, please do subscribe. Thank you for liking. Hit the bell if you subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Cool. So, Cole Palmer, England Player of the Year. A little bit of a meme because, of course, in the last tournament, he didn't get one start. Of course, that was a travesty. Every time he came on the pitch, he was the best player. Scored in the final. Jokes on Gareth Southgate, really. But he was voted by England teammates, the players, to be the Player of the Year. There he is with the award. Now, if it's, indicating what he's done in club football as an English player, then yes. Player of the Year. He's like no player in the Premier League since he's joined Chelsea has as many goal involvements than him, and that's including the Nordic giant that is Erling Haaland. So he's there's other Watkins, Saka have been great, but Cole Palmer's been the best, isn't he? So I'm sure many of you have seen the video of John Stones giving them the awards. Quite a sweet moment because I just love Cole. I ruddy love this kid. He has absolutely no ego. He's just like an innocent, sweet young lad that doesn't really know what... Bless him, he doesn't really know what's happening, does he? Or what he's doing, which is kind of great. Wholesome and lovely. It's kind of making me fall in love with football again. Matt Davis-Adams of the Straight Out of Common podcast said, in a world of PSR, amortization, state-owned clubs, soft power play, sports washing, to just have, big egos, brands, players, all this kind of agent fees and all this kind of horrible, nasty footballing stuff, just to have this, northern kid from Manchester or Midlands, whatever you want to call it, northern, come down and just wants to play football and just smashing all the records and just super chill about it, and it's just something really joyful and lovely about it. And him receiving that award from John Stones, he was like, I thought it was for him, why is it for me? And then John said something really nice and he was like, oh, thank you, John. He doesn't understand what he's doing, and I friggin' love it. Shout out Cole Palmer. Transition, please. There we go. Right, so I'm going to dive into a little bit of this article from Toomey of The Athletic, just for reference. Oh, man, it's not there. Why is it never there? Here it is. It's there. Here it is. I'm not going to keep it up on the screen because in case there's an ad, I don't think there is an ad, but just in case, I don't want to get in trouble. So it's there. He's speaking about... Fernandez, £106 million Fernandez. I'm just going to jump into a part of the article now. Enzo Maresca has a markedly different view on Fernandez's importance to his Chelsea team, and he laid out his thinking in a press conference last month. He said this, quote, I think it's very difficult in a way we play to find a midfielder that can attack like an attacking midfielder and defend like a holding midfielder. For instance, Arsenal using Declan Rice as an attacking midfielder on the ball, as a holding midfielder when defending. Man City in the past have done this with Gundogan. Yeah. In our case, we are trying to find the balance, find the players who can give us that kind of solution. At the moment, Enzo is the only one. When we have the ball, he's playing like an attacking midfielder and dropping next to Moises when we don't have the ball as the defensive balance. Yeah, but The game's so much better when it's in front of him, and he was underlapping in the Forest game with Jadon Sancho. And look, look, I don't want to do him dirty, Enzo. He's a really gifted technical footballer. Sure, he can do that. Are we getting the best out of him? He goes on to say this: in the first game against Man City, we used Romeo Lavia and Moises Caicedo as holding midfielders, but Enzo in this moment is playing on the ball as an attacking midfielder and off the ball as a holding midfielder. He's doing very good with us, and the idea is to continue with that. Why have one position when you can play two? In the graphic below, you can see Fernandez took the bulk of his touches. I'll show you then. The bulk of his touches in the centre of midfield under Pochettino, while operating more on the left-hand side. Enzo's percentage touch map. So, yeah, kind of like here and here. Here and here. Right. So far this season, he's a left-sided number 8 in Maresca's system. Fernandez is getting more of his touches slightly higher up the pitch and even more focused on the left-hand side. As you can see, yeah. And yeah, that's this season under Maresca. He shifts, because we saw the underlaps again. That's more of like the number 8 position with Sancho there. The biggest change is Fernandez is touching the ball a lot less overall, which isn't great because he's a passing footballer. He's a little bit more akin to a, dare I say that word, regista. Oh my God, sorry days. Yeah, so he's averaging 66.3 touches per 90 minutes. That's 66.3 touches per 90 minutes in the Premier League this season. That's according to FBref. So this is down from last season, which was 86.9, which is significant. That is significant. Much more touches under Pochettino's reign. That is a big drop, which is due to him being far less involved in Chelsea's possession build-up in the defence and middle thirds. His attacking third touches in 90 minutes are virtually identical this season. Maresca's preference is for a fullback, of course, to invert into central midfield alongside Caicedo. It means there's far less need, or indeed space, for Fernandez to drop deep and contribute to Chelsea's ball progression before they cross the halfway line. It's almost like you need to convert Enzo Fernandez into a fullback, but he would be a terrible fullback. So we can't do that. He still does occasionally move into his favourite left back position. This is Cucurella we're talking about here. To receive the ball and sharp plays and the pressure. Okay, so Fernandez's single best attribute might be his ability to identify and play progressive passes. Yeah, so this is what I'm sort of thinking. He has a touch of that Cesc Fabregas about him when he just sort of hits that first time ball between the lines into the channels, over the top. Superb passing. So it's fair to ask if moving him higher up into midfield and giving him the ball to feet much less often truly maximises him. As a number 8 underlapping Jadon Sancho, like I said, he often looks awkward in the below sequence. It's not quick enough to create separation for the first time cross. So it does show you here the graphic. There you go. He's inverted there. So he started here, underlapping Jadon Sancho, and it's looks all a bit of a mess. Maresca appears to be trying to focus. Oh, 1 second, my door. I'm going to pause. And we're back, baby. It wasn't actually the door. It was my cat trying to get in through the cat flap, so I let her in, bless her. Maresca appears to be trying to focus on Fernandez's incisive passing instincts in the opposition half. His 5.4 progressive passes per 90 minutes are way down from 8.6 last season. So everything Enzo Fernandez is doing from last season is down. Like, literally everything. He's showing all kinds of stats here to me, which is really poor. Yet, it is not as if Maresca has reinvented Fernandez into a Gundogan-style goal-scoring midfielder, or a goal-scorer from midfield, or even a hub for attacking creation, but we've got plenty of that. Palmer, Felix, etc. He has only had 4 shot attempts in 511 minutes played in the Premier League this season. He probably thinks, though, I don't need to score goals, everyone else can. With a cumulative expected goals of 0.3. Ooh, there have been a few sensational passing flashes from Fernandez in the opening weeks. I have said this. I've said, look, in a couple of games I've been like, oh, Enzo Fernandez looks good. And this is what's really important, right, guys? This is what's really important. We can't pretend like this man is a bad footballer because he's really, really good. You know, he's really, really good. He's technically excellent. He's strong, tenacious. He's not the fastest. He's not the best tackler. Fine. But he's an amazing technician. He fights for the cause. He's seemingly always available. And he can play like those Hollywood passes. We don't have Cesc Fabregas anymore. We don't have even Hakim Ziyech, big, you know, that kind of Hollywood boys. Yeah, sure, Cole Palmer can do it. But Cole Palmer, you can't rely on him to do everything. You need other players to do it. Some stuff too. He is averaging more attempted tackles every 90 minutes in the Premier League than any Chelsea player, not named Caicedo. Of course, Caicedo's, I think he's leading the Premier League for that. It's not enough, though. In the early weeks of Maresca's tenure, the challenge of accounting for Fernandez, he's got considerable strengths, and significant weaknesses in the midfield have become no simpler, and the conversation about his importance to the team and even his place in it is unlikely to go away. Well, it's tough because Maresca seemingly really likes him. He's given him the captain's armband in the absence of Reece James, and absent, those two words are best mates. Because I don't know, bro. Like, because he's playing that like offensive like number 8. He is. It's so tough because in his, I mean, Dewsbury Hall. I guess the most obvious replacement for Fernandez in terms of playing that role where you got to get back and defend but get forward and play offensive 8 style football. Dewsbury Hall's way better offensive 8 than Enzo Fernandez. So maybe he does take his place. Of course you think Romeo Lavia, but you play Lavia and Caicedo as quite a conservative functional midfield. Lavia is good at ball carrying and combining. Maybe he can get up, but he's not an offensive player at all, is he? I know in theory, in technical profile, Enzo Fernandez is. You just wonder if the remit of Maresca, once he was hired, is, can you please, like, Caicedo kind of looks after himself. They may be thinking, look, Caicedo looks after himself. Mudryk, he costs a lot, but not that much. And we kind of understand how he's a real tough cookie to crack at the moment. But can you please get a lot out of, you know, World Cup winner, Copa America winner, you know, best young player of the World Cup, with all this kind of stuff, Enzo Fernandez, and it's clearly like his remit to do something with him. And I get it. Out of Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo's the guy to be running into that offensive 8 spot. But he's not contributing in that role. He can't get back quickly. And maybe, I don't know, if you said who's the more defensive player out of Dewsbury Hall and Enzo, guess I'd say Enzo, but it's not like, and that's only because Dewsbury Hall is like an attacking midfielder. If you said who can play the better like Hollywood passes, of course Enzo. But I tell you what, it's tricky, bro. It's really, really tricky. Let me know what you think. We're going to talk about Osimhen now. All right. Now, before we read this, let's do some disclaimers. I love Nkunku. I love Jackson. I'm massively high on Jackson. If you watch the channel, you know I'm big fan, right? He's doing very well. But, you know, Crystal Palace 1-1, Nottingham Forest 1-1. How does that change if Victor Osimhen's starting and, like, you know, beating up the centre? Because, like, he's strong, Osimhen. Will he get as beaten up by those Forest centre-backs as Jackson was? You'd have to say probably not. And Jackson's not weak, by the way. Yeah. And it could be cheap. Metro writes this: Victor Osimhen remains very interested in playing for Chelsea and is weighing up the move to Stamford Bridge in January, which is like 3 months away, you know, like less than 3 months. Chelsea have been credited with a strong interest in Osimhen for a number of years and reportedly sent a delegation to Naples, of course, on deadline day to get the deal done, which we didn't. But a proposed transfer from Napoli to West London fell through, and Osimhen went on to complete a loan agreement to Galatasaray. Of course, Saudi outfit Al Ahly and Liga and Giants PSG also explored the signing. PSG pulled out, of course. He has since sacked his agent, by the way, Osimhen. And we've since had a lot of talking from John Obi Mikel about this, saying, look, they're close. Chelsea and Osimhen are close on wages. I've spoken to Paul Winstanley, the sporting director. They're close. They can pick it up. They can get it done. Let's read on. Osimhen has since flown out of the traps in Turkey, racking up 2 goals and 2 assists in the opening 3 appearances for Galatasaray. But there is mounting speculation that he could be on the move again soon. So yes, here we go. According to Italian publication Corriere dello Sport, Galatasaray are keen to sign Osimhen on a permanent basis from Napoli. Don't they have... Can they have Icardi and Osimhen? That seems like pretty crazy. But the Super League champions are likely to face stiff competition from Chelsea. Osimhen's 130 million release clause ceased to be active when he joined Galatasaray on loan, and the forward will be available for just £68 million in the winter, and that will drop again to £63 million in the summer. £63 million. That's what we paid for Mudryk up front. So, but it's Osimhen, who's much more proven. The reduced £68 million buyout clause will not be valid to Serie A clubs in January. So, Chelsea could capitalise with the situation in January. So essentially, right, essentially, because they don't want, Napoli, and of course they're top of the friggin' league now, aren't they, in Serie A in Italy with Conte and Lukaku and gang. And of course Lukaku has been, I think he's got the most goal involvements than any other Serie A player. I think they got slapped up the first game, and he's just, as soon as you got Lukaku firing, goals, assists, I think he's got the most goals and assists in the league, Lukaku. It was always going to happen for Conte, wasn't it? Yeah, but they obviously don't want this powerful striker asset to go to a title rival in January, but they don't care if he goes to Chelsea. So that restriction is not for a Premier League team like Chelsea. So the report claims Osimhen is, quote, still very interested in signing for Chelsea. So much so that he's considering making the move in 3 months' time. I mean, if Chelsea... but hi there, if Chelsea... If we're... Did I say it correctly? And I can't believe I'm about to say this. If, say, we're, like, in January, 4 points off first place, like we are now. If we are in January... maybe, just maybe... people in the Chelsea boardroom go, shall we go and get Osimhen and see if we can do something here? Woo, that'd be crazy, bro. Osimhen was to secure the £68 million switch to Chelsea in the upcoming window. A fee of 63 would go to Napoli and 5 would go to Galatasaray. So he's still got 2 years left on his Naples contract, or his contract in Naples. He's viewed as a potential long-term solution up front for Chelsea in the wake of Jackson's mixed season. Jackson's good, bro. He's good, but is he... And also, would Osimhen make Jackson better? We need to consider that, as well. He's had a very strong start to the season, and we've since looked at Samu Amorodorian. By the way, like... our scouting team, John Duran, Samu Amorodorian, we were looking at these players when everyone was going, what the hell are you doing, Chelsea? And then they've gone on to just look like amazing. And then they're like, wow, okay, well done, Chelsea. You guys know what you're doing. Good scouting. Anyway, let me know what you think. Keen to hear your thoughts, feelings, emotions. Please leave them in the comment section. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And keep it locked, man. I can't wait to see you back here on the channel. Peace.